Hello. I hope you're all doing well and better than I was this time last month. I know I am. And with all that being said, I want to let you guys know I'm back and ready to make content again. So, alright, I'm going to cut straight to the chase. I'm aware that at least two other YouTubers do this type of videos. In fact, I happen to watch one of those channels, which inspired me to make a series of my own. Sorry, Siri. Now, if you want to watch the good, high quality stuff, go ahead and watch that channel. Go ahead and tune in. But if you want the $3 steak, the affordable stuff, the dollar store quality, you've come to the right place. Let's go ahead and get straight to it. Let's start with the series Til Death. The show starts off really strong with some good, engaging plots and unique jokes that have satisfying endings to it.
Oh, dear God. It's been so long since someone's touched me there.
Season 2 is where it really gets good. It just improves off leaps and bounds, and they had some really good entertaining punchlines, like I'd mentioned. Especially for the first season, I will say it was very strong. Then season 2, of course, it introduces Kenny, and it gets good from there on. Unfortunately, it made me wonder why there was only 4 seasons to the show, up until we reached season 4. And thus, bringing me to my purpose for making this video. This is the day Til Death Died. So like I said, the show is really good, the characters are great, and the personalities bounce really well off of each other. The dynamic that Joy and Eddie share is criminally underrated. Unfortunately, that the solid cast, even though the small amounts of witty jokes that were in season 4 weren't enough to save and solve the decaying season 4. The first problem with season 4 was the 3 or 4 different actresses portraying the character Allison, who is their daughter. And considering that for season 3 and 4, she became a recurring character, it really helped destroy the show. Now, this makes me question, I can understand having to replace the actress. I can understand maybe it just didn't work out with the other actresses, but in this instance, if you can't get the original actress, which I'm already not a fan of replacing an actress for another actress, but if you're going to not be able to have the original Allison actress, and you're gonna have to go through more than one replacement, then at this point, why necessitate a whole series revolving around the character Allison being pregnant? It just makes no sense to me. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. In this case, it would be better to just write her off and do a different plot that doesn't necessitate this sort of thing. Have Joy and Eddie doing couples counseling together. Make a plot where Joy finds out she has a half-sister. Have Joy and Eddie go out on a trip. Those are 3 ideas right there. And although they're not the greatest, I can guarantee the writers can probably have been able to work with those a lot better than this sack of shit season. And I'll be honest with you, I just came up with that right on the spot. To make it worse, and my second point of this issue, is the character Doug. In this season, the character Doug is breaking the fourth wall. And while I don't really mind this sense of humor, this becomes the plot. He becomes aware that this is a TV show, and then he continues to question everything and wonder what exactly is going on here. And he then acknowledges the 3 actresses playing Allison. As if that didn't make it any worse. As if that wasn't already bad enough that the actress was being replaced 3 or 4 or 5 times. Unbelievable. There was at one point, Doug had acknowledged and asked the question, what about Kenny and the Woodcocks? And then, to make it worse, it wasn't even addressed. It was just used as a punchline to make Doug seem crazy. Seriously. Writers Josh Goldsmith and Kathy Uspa, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I'm calling you two out. This was your chance. What were you guys doing missing this opportunity? This was your chance to basically explain what had happened with the Woodcocks and Kenny, because I'm wondering that myself. What happened with them? It completely retconned 2 very recurring characters, well 3, and actually very funny characters. It bothers me. This would have at least been some sort of satisfactory saving grace to this dying season. It's literally like they were just told this would be their last season and they just phoned it in this season completely. Now, I did some research, and as it turns out, the reason Jeff and Steph left was because they both found something else in season 2, which means they had all sorts of time to fix this. In fact, they had a whole season before this to fix this. In fact, in season 2, they could have written them off the show, which they did not do. And instead, they used that as a punchline in season 4 with little to no follow-up. It bothers me. It baffles me. How do you mess this up? I'm more impressed than anything. I don't understand any of the terrible decision-making going on in season 4. But with that being said, I think they should absolutely do a reboot and fix the season, in my opinion, because it was still a witty show and at moments of comedy brilliance. But season 4 took that away completely and left a stain on the reputation of the show. And if they do ever have a reboot, I would have no problem considering season 4 as a non-canon season completely and just completely forgetting about it. And the thing that makes me most upset is just how damn good Brad Garrett is. And he was completely wasted on the last season. Absolutely wasted, and it's unbelievable. Look, I can get cast members leaving. That's not my issue. And I can get if there were maybe people backing out, money issues, and all sorts of other things going on. In fact, I tried to find information on Kenny leaving, but couldn't. So I'm only trying to guess that there has to be multiple issues. But when a character is completely omitted from the series with no explanation, come on. Don't make a completely nonsensical season that will lose almost all of your fans too. And look, Doug and Allie and her 3,000 actresses are not at fault for their roles here, but they were terrible characters. I mean, just detestable. Doug is a hippie with no funny qualities and completely boring to watch, and Allie has no consistency as to what her personality is about. Replacing the Woodcocks with Doug and Allison was an atrocious change. The worst part about it is their last episode. It makes even less sense than that of their entire season. I had no idea that was even possible. In the last episode, Doug suddenly had his conspiracy theory for this entire season, and then after that, it went away after episodes of this crap. The ending of the last episode made no sense because it ends on a cliffhanger as if they thought they were getting another season after this bullshit, and had the only tolerable scene where Eddie had a bonding moment with Doug, and even then, that was still hard to buy because there was a whole season of Eddie disliking Doug. In fact, a whole 2 seasons of Eddie disliking Doug. I'm sorry, but not even Brad Garrett was able to save this monstrosity. With all of this hurting the season, with the actresses leaving, and Doug going crazy, or I guess the only one being reasonable and saying what the audience was thinking, there was still more. The plot of the show completely lost me because it was just so lackluster and I couldn't even help pay attention anymore or bring myself to care anymore. It was just so convoluted. And I haven't watched it back because I'm not putting myself through that monstrosity again. Trust me, it was that bad. So do yourself a favor and watch the first 3 seasons. Well, maybe not season 3 because it wasn't bad, but it does have the introduction of Doug. And from that point, it does become skippable. There are good parts of that season though. But Doug just hurts the show for me a bit. And the good parts are the ones without Doug in them. With all that being said, thank you for watching this video. Subscribe if you wish to see more.